How's it going, everybody? Marvel the Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback, and we are continuing this amazing Spider-Man series as we look at issue number 28, which came out in September of 1965. And as we look at the cover today, we are seeing a brand new villain here, and that is the Molten Man. We're going to be looking at the Molten Man's first appearance here today, as well as the graduation of Peter Parker. Peter Parker graduates from high school in this issue. So as we look at the title of this issue is The Menace of the Molten Man. We're going to find out how exactly the Molten Man came to be. But as always, before we get started, we have to give credit where credit is due. So we have Stan Lee, who wrote this issue, Steve Ditko, who drew this issue, and then we have Sam Rosen on the lettering page. So let's go ahead and get started as we look at another Marvel masterpiece. So we start out this issue, as we remember from last issue, Peter Parker and Flash Thompson got in a fight at school, and Principal Davis got a hold of it. And so now we see that Flash Thompson actually came to Principal Davis and explained the whole story of what happened last issue. So Peter Parker looks like he is in the clear. He's not in trouble any longer. Now, an important key character for this issue, and that is Liz Allen. Liz Allen is very important to this issue because we don't understand what she's going through. Why in the world is she giving Peter Parker the cold shoulder? Well, if you looked at my past videos, you remember that Liz Allen and Betty Brant found out that Peter Parker has another woman in his life, and that is Mary Jane Watson. Now, Peter Parker has not met Mary Jane Watson face to face yet. He hasn't even met her. Now, we've seen bits and pieces of her in issue number 25, but we don't know exactly what she looks like yet. We don't know how she looks, and Peter Parker has not met her yet, but we know that Liz Allen has met Mary Jane Watson, and Mary Jane Watson is very, very beautiful, as what we've seen in issue number 25. So let's go ahead and move forward here. We see that Peter Parker thanks Flash Thompson for ratting him out and basically, thanks him, but Flash Thompson and Peter Parker are still not on good terms. And so Peter Parker, after he leaves school, he remembers that he needs to go and get his Spider-Man costume, his original costume, because back in issue number 25 he had left it behind, and Dr. Smythe had gotten his costume after Peter Parker as Spider-Man fought Dr. Smythe's robot. And so this whole time Spider-Man has been fighting in a store-bought costume, and it has been getting on Peter Parker's nerves. Like, you want your original costume, you got to do whatever's necessary to get it back. So he goes to this laboratory where Dr. Smythe works, and he almost got caught by this old robot that we saw in issue number 25, but Peter Parker uses his alibi as, hey, here's a glass jar of spiders that you can use for your experiment. So Peter Parker luckily uses that jar of spiders to his advantage, because he knew that Dr. Smythe uses spiders for his experiments. So let's go ahead and move forward here. We see that Peter Parker is asking to see Spider-Man's outfit, his costume. So he uses the excuse, hey, can I take a picture of that for the Daily Bugle? And Dr. Smythe's like, yeah, sure. Now, while Peter Parker is looking at the costume, we're going to see right here that basically Peter Parker is going to sneak and switch the old costume for the original costume, the fake for the original. So that's very nice right there. But we see who comes into the room here is this guy named Raxton. We don't know exactly who Raxton is, but we can be assured that he's up to no good, as Raxton and Dr. Smythe seem to have had a deal, but Raxton is too impatient and wants the metal alloy now. So he punches Dr. Smythe. Dr. Smythe bumps into this machine. The machine comes on, and it's just a lot of mayhem going on. Peter Parker gets trapped by the coils from this robot, and so he's trapped, and he's catching the whole thing. Raxton drops this case of metal alloy, and the metal alloy covers Raxton from head to toe. And so we see right here how Raxton became the Molten Man. And as Raxton is just unaware of the power that he has, he leaves knowing that, he needs probably to see a doctor or a hospital or something, because having yellow metal skin is not normal. So Peter Parker, he's looking around. He knows that sooner or later Dr. Smythe is going to come to his senses, and he needs to get out of these coils from this robot before Dr. Smythe wakes up. So he uses his web shooters for an advantage, and he turns off the robot just in time so that Dr. Smythe does not get suspicious that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And so Peter Parker asks Dr. Smythe, where does Raxton live? Where is his address? So Dr. Smythe gives Peter Parker his address, and while we see Raxton, who is now the Molten Man, he discovers his newfound powers. So this guy's like, get out of the way, and then the Molten Man here just crushes his car with his bare hands. So we see right here the newfound strength of the Molten Man, and the Molten Man is like a light bulb flashes in his brain. He's like, with this newfound power, I can be indestructible. And so we see right here that Raxton is going to go back to his apartment. He uses a disguise so he won't get noticed. And so Raxton decides that he's going to use his new strength to pull off a major crime. Before Raxton can do that major crime, we see right here that Spider-Man uses the knowledge that he has as to where Raxton lives. And so we're going to see right here the very first fight between Spider-Man and the Molten Man right here, right within an apartment building. So you can just imagine you might be in a room right next door and you're hearing all this ruckus going on between fighting, like what in the world's going on? So Spider-Man tries to say, hey, come on, just go with me. You're just a normal man. Spider-Man is going to find out right here that Raxton is no normal man. This is the Molten Man. He's different. He's just crazy. Look at all the things that he can do. I mean, he's super strong. And remember that, Peter Parker's getting ready to graduate. And so you don't want to show up to graduation with a black eye. So Peter Parker tries his best to not get clobbered here. So we're going to see some great fight scenes right here, drawn by Steve Ditko, Spider-Man, and Molten Man going right, just tearing this whole apartment, just to pieces. Some great, just awesome action scenes here. Spider-Man tries to use his webbing here. Webbing doesn't work. He tries everything in his book. Nothing works. Just nothing. And so the fight finally goes downstairs. So we're going to see a fight within the own basement here. And so if you remember seeing the front cover of this issue, Spider-Man and Molten Man are fighting in a dark room. So we're going to see right here how that plays out. Spider-Man sees a light bulb hanging in the basement of this apartment, and so he uses that to his advantage by shattering the light bulb. So now the Molten Man cannot see where his foe is at. Spider-Man uses webbing once again, this time to trip up the Molten Man. And so he pretty much hog ties the Molten Man here and uses his webbing fast enough so that Molten Man is defenseless. He cannot fight. Now you think to yourself, couldn't the Molten Man just snap this webbing? Well, Spider-Man uses, I guess what Stanley tried to use here is Spider-Man uses his webbings and tries to pretty much keep it on the Molten Man long enough so that it hardens, so that the Molten Man cannot get out of those webbing. I guess that's what you can infer here in this issue, is that the Molten Man, even the Molten Man with all his super strength, cannot snap the webbing because it hardens. And once it hardens, you have to wait at least like an hour or so before it dissolves. And so the Molten Man is left for the police to collect. And so that is the end of the Molten Man for now. Don't know when he'll make his next appearance. We're sure he'll come back, but the Molten Man is left in the care of the police. So there we have it with the Molten Man, and now let's get ready for Peter Parker as he gets ready to graduate here. And of course, Aunt May and their neighbor, the Watsons, I think it's the Aunt Watson, don't know, but they're great. She's great friends with Peter's aunt here, Aunt May. And so we see right here the great event here where Peter Parker graduates from high school. And he notices that Liz Allen is still upset about something. Why is she upset? Well, let's go ahead and find out after graduation, and we see that J. Jonah Jameson gave the commencement speech, and everybody's like, oh, great. We had to hear from him. So you see Peter Parker tries to catch up with Liz Allen here to find out, hey, you know, I thought you liked me. What's going on? What's up with the cold shoulder? Why are you so upset? We see right here why she's upset. She says that she's always thought that Peter Parker looked down on her for being like a dumb blonde, I guess, and that Peter Parker has other women that he's interested in, and she's had a crush on him for a long time. She liked him, and so she leaves Peter Parker behind to go with her parents, and I think that's going to be the last time we see Liz Allen for maybe a long time. We also found out that Peter Parker won a scholarship, science scholarship, to Empire State University, and that he's going to be going to college with Flash Thompson as well. So we have that to look forward to in the next coming issues as Peter Parker gets ready to go to college. He's going to be with Flash Thompson. And then we see right here at the very end of this issue, we have J. Jonah Jameson trying his very best to get Peter Parker to come back to the Daily Bugle. And so I think he's convinced Peter Parker to come back to the Daily Bugle. And so that is how we end this issue. A very great issue here where we have not only a first appearance of a villain, but also Peter Parker graduating from high school. And as we see in issue number 29, we're going to see the reappearance of the Scorpion. There'll be another appearance of Scorpion here. We haven't seen the Scorpion since issue number 20. But before we look at that issue, go ahead, give this issue a video a big old like, comment down below what you liked, and as always, get ready for the next videos. We're going to look at the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 2. So get ready for that. Hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.